Shalom. So, Genesis 37. Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, sojourner, temporary resident. I'm guessing the word is going to be ger. In the land of Canaan. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. Chabad. Jacob dwelt in the land of his father's sojournings in the land of Canaan. Really long Rashi, I'm not going to read. Vayeshav Yaakov be'eretz megurei aviv be'eretz Canaan. So Yeshav comes from settling, right? Yeshuv, right? Again, I think there is a two-letter root there. And things like leshevet, to sit, liyashev, to set, lashuv, to return. I think these are all actually variations on the two-letter root, shin bet. Yaakov be'eretz, there is no article in the vocalization, and really eretz here I think is in construct form with megurei and aviv, so it's a one construct chain. Now, megurei here, you may be tempted to think that this is a prepositional mem. I don't think it is. It comes from the word gur, but so they have noun masculine. Do they explain how it's formed? They don't. Or magur from gur in the sense of lodging, a temporary abode. Yeah, I don't actually know. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, Yeshuv is a moshav, I guess, maybe. Trying to see verbs like lagur, lashuv. I'm not. I don't exactly know how Magor gets found. Let's see if Rashi says something. Does he say? No, he doesn't. I guess maybe the Radak might. Abarbanel, as always, is really, really long, and let's see. Radak. Vayeshev. No. Ibn Ezra? No. Let's see if anybody's really looks like they're doing a grammatical. This is all the Barbanel, I believe. Long. Can we? Okay, there we go. Vayeshev. Yeah, I'm not sure how Magur gets Megurei. Bet b'Mesorah. Hacha ve'idach Megurei el Cherev. אף על פי שהיה לו מגורי אל חרב, ישב לו ביניהם. משל לאחד שכלבים ורצו לנשכו, וישב ביניהם, כך ישב לו יעקב בין עשיו ואלופיו. That doesn't explain. Baal HaTurim says it's Gematria Zechevron. Because Kibud Avayim, okay. Megurei, Yod Kefufa Kamin Kaf, Amar Masha Zachad Asav Achol. I have no idea what the Baal HaTurim means by that. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how that is formed, but it does come from gur, which gimel vav resh, which is to reside temporarily. A ger toshav is a resident alien in the Bible, and a ger tzedek is a somebody who converts to Judaism, to being part of Israel. So. But it's one long construct chain, right? That his, actually fathers, that's in plural, isn't it? No, they're saying it's singular. Noun masculine singular construct, third person masculine singular. Yeah, I guess it would have been avotav. So if it was in plural, so his father. Be'eretz Canaan, in the land of Canaan. Yitzchak is the only one of the Avot who did not leave Eretz Yisrael. That's kind of strange because even his father was not. That's, yeah. Not exactly sure what it's saying there. Okay, next verse. This is the history of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Tattletale. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And he brought their father a bad report about them. Chabad. These are the generations of Jacob. When Joseph was 17 years old, being a shepherd, he was with his brothers with the flocks, and he was a lad, and was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought evil tales about them to their father. Yeah, I think the word is diba. We'll get there. Eile toldot Yaakov, Yosef ben 17 shana, haya ro'e et achav batzon, vehu na'ar et bnei Bilhah ve'et bnei Zilpah neshei aviv, Vayave Yosef et dibatam. Yeah, I don't know if this word shows up many times. Ra'ah el avihem. Okay. So, these are the toldot, right? Toldot, generations, literally. It's used a lot to talk about a history. Genesis is actually was also referred to as Sefer Toldot, as the book of generations. I think that's actually where Genesis comes from. Yaakov, Yosef, so Yaakov and then Yosef, ben Sheva Esre Shana. That's how you say how old somebody is in Hebrew. You say that they are ben whatever age they are. So Sheva 7, Esre 10, Shana, so 17 years. Haya Ro'e et Echav, he was so Ro'e, feeding, shepherding. Hashem Ro'i, God is my shepherd, right? Et Echav. So the et here is actually not a direct object marker. It is the preposition et. So, I mean, if you were going to read it as a direct object marker, he would actually be watching over his brothers, and I can understand saying that, but the simple meaning is obviously that this is the preposition et, meaning with. Et echav. Batzon, so there is the article in the vocalization there. So in the tzon, flock is tzon usually refers to small ruminants, so like sheep and goats. Cattle are usually differentiated with tzon. Vehu na'ar, so the pronoun is being used as the verb to be here. So, and he was na'ar, a young man. Et bnei Bilha ve'et bnei Zilpa, with the sons of Bilha and Zilpa, right? Neshei Aviv, the wives of his father, right? So, Ish is man, Isha is woman, Nashim is women, and Anashim or Ishim is men. And that gets into a whole thing with Son of Man debate. Not going to go there. Vayaveh, so this is the hefil of bo, to bring. So this is the causative of, so he brought. He caused to come, Yaveh, right? So it's the causative, hefil. Yosef et dibatam, their diba, and I don't know how many times diba shows up in the Bible. I know it here just because I always remember it from here. Oh, right. And then there was the dibat haaretz, right, when the spies went into the land in Numbers. And then okay, it's in Psalms, Proverbs. So from Dabab, Daled Bet Bet. To move gently, glide over. I'm not sure I agree with that. Compare dobe with an aleph. I'm not sure I agree with that. Noun defamation as that which glides stealthily. Yeah, Strong's also thinks it's from Davav. I don't see why it's not just a separate Dalet Bet Hey. I mean, looking at all the times it's used in, um, doesn't appear to be very irregular. Yeah, not sure why they're so sure it's from Dabab, especially since Dabab doesn't. Oh, I guess Dovev Siftei Yeshanim. That has also to do with speaking. Late Hebrew, flow slowly drop. Arabic, dav, walk leisurely gently. Dabe, any animal that walks or creeps. Compare dov, which means bear in Hebrew. Assyrian dababu, plot. Compare diba. Maybe they're getting it from the Assyrian. And by Assyrian, I'm not sure if they mean the Aramaic language spoken by Christians, or they mean the language before that was spoken by the Assyrian Gentiles. I don't know. Okay, but whatever diba is, dibatam ra'ah. So I guess, I mean, diba doesn't, it's specifying that it's bad, so I guess it's possible that diba might not have been bad. El is prepositional aleph, avihem, their father. And as I like to point out, this is actually criticism of Joseph, meaning Joseph was not perfect. In case you wanted to get all Christological on me. Verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. So this gets into a whole question, what exactly the tunic was. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons because he had been born to him in his old age, and he made him an ornate robe for him. The meaning of the Hebrew for this word is uncertain, also in verses 23 and 32. And Israel loved Joseph more than all his sons because he was a son of his old age, and he made him a fine woolen coat. So Pasim, Rashi says fine woolen coat. I think I've seen in other places it says it's a long-sleeved coat. The Midrash Haggadah, however, explains that it was Pasim because of his troubles. Midrash Haggadah שצרותיו שנמכר לסוחרים. Oh, I see. He's doing Roshei Tevot. So Pasim is Potiphar, Socharim, Ishmaelim, and Midianites. So it's a initialism, possibly. Okay. Let's see. וישראל אהב את יוסף מכל בניו, כי בן זקונים הוא לו, ועשה לו כתונת פסים. And Israel, switch names, Ahav, loved, it's in the perfect. Et Yosef mikol banav, from all of his children. Ki, because ben zekunim hu lo. So the pronoun here is being used in place of the present tense of the verb to be. Um, Ben Zekunim, right? The son of old age. Zaken means beard or elder. Zekunim, again, I don't know why they passive participle of zaken. Zekunim. Properly, passive participle of zaken only used only in plural as a noun, old age. And it's used only in Genesis 4 times. Apparently, it's always used with. No, so Abraham also with Isaac. Yeah. Okay. Hulo, he is to him, right? Va'asalo, and he made. Asiyah is to make, right? Lo ketonet, so a ketonet is a robe. From an unused word. Yeah, I don't know where it comes from. Aramaic kituna, Ethiopic, tunic, linen, late Hebrew. It's used quite a few times. And pasim, so let's see what they say about pasim. From an unused word, flat, long-sleeved. That I'd seen that before. Very colored. Noun masculine, flat of hand or foot, palm or sole. Only ketonet masim, reaching the palms and soles. Pasas. Diverse colors from pasas, properly to vanish. I guess his hands. And Chasid ki pasu emunim. Interesting. Or soul, properly pas. Umilka chazeh pas. This is Aramaic. Yadapti kadamohi shliach pasadi yadeh. Not sure where they get mas. One common way of depicting Semites in Egypt was to show them wearing garments with lots of colors, usually striped. I was not aware of this. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I looked into it before, and seemed most of the things were saying it's long sleeved. Okay, verse 4. But when his brother saw that his father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Don't Sephardic Jews wear stripes? So Yerushalmis wear stripes. Yerushalmi dress is striped. I'm not really sure. I think I remember in the Middle Ages seeing depictions of Jews wearing stripes, but that might have even come from Christian understandings and stuff like that. What was I gonna do? That's what I was gonna do. Okay. Where were we? They hated him and could not speak peaceably. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. And his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, so they hated him, and they could not speak with him peacefully. So this is one of the many places where the Bible shows that it's not into polygamy. And the pattern you will see is that anytime there are multiple wives with the children do not get along, which is one of the many reasons why polygamy is bad. And the Bible doesn't approve of it, despite what people might say. Ve'yiru achav ki oto ahav avihem mikol achav ve'yisnu oto ve'lo yachlu dabro leshalom. Okay, so ve'yiru, and they saw. It's being flipped from the thing. I thought polygamy is still permitted in Judaism. Generally, not really. My great-grandfathers from both sides had multiple wives at the same time. Sephardic Jews. So Rabbeinu Gershom, over 1,000 years ago, I believe, over 1,000 years ago. But Rabbeinu Gershom made a takana that forbid a man from marrying multiple wives, from divorcing his wife without her consent, and people from reading other people's letters. Why those three? There's actually a lot of beautiful reasons, but so because of that, Ashkenazim are prohibited from marrying multiple wives. Sephardim in Israel do not actually marry multiple wives. There was a slight question when there was a married Sephardic man whose brother died and didn't leave any children, and he wanted to actually fulfill the Levirate marriage, and there was a whole controversy over that because Israel was like anti-polygamous, but this is a mitzvah, and he wanted to fulfill the mitzvah, and it was a whole thing. Is that simply the legal environment in Iran being more amenable to polygamy due to Islam than, say, America? I think that's part of it, but really I think part of it was also that in Iran at the time, it's not like my great-grandmother Pasand, like, she didn't get along with my great-grandfather, and they had pretty much separated, but for him to divorce her would have left her without any way of supporting herself with, and the kind of funny thing is, when my great-grandmother Passan died, Grandma Miriam took her kids and moved to Chicago because she liked my great-grandmother. She didn't like my great-grandfather very much, and by that time she was young enough. I actually met her in like 1986 or 7, maybe 88. She came to Los Angeles. She was pretty old by then. I'm named after my great grandfather. He died right before I was born. Um, and yeah, she moved to the United States because she was young enough. She didn't really like him, um, and she could do that. But when she did marry him, my great grandmother, like, the idea of her actually divorcing her husband, like, what would she have done, right? It's not like women were getting jobs and stuff, you know. So, yeah. Okay. But regardless, the Bible itself obviously does not believe in polygamy as a good thing. It's the ideal marriage is one man, one woman. That is the ideal marriage as it is portrayed in the Bible. Every time it is portrayed in the Bible, and every time there is polygamy in the Bible, um, um, I think there's a verse that says God gave David his wives. Okay, yeah. Um, I mean, God gave Jacob his wives, but we see that there were problems, and there were problems. It's we live in an imperfect world, and the Bible recognizes that. Um, there is the ideal. There's that which has to be tolerated in lacking of the ideal, and then there's, you know, things that are absolutely forbidden. And frankly, you know, when you actually have a legal system like, um, actually Islam does too, but like Judaism does, you have to you end up differentiating between various levels of whether something is ideal or preferred, or, you know, not preferred, you know, and you see that through the regulations, right? Yeah, actually, yesterday on Twitter, I got into a tiff with somebody who was saying the Bible approves of slavery, and it's like, no, the Bible does not approve of slavery. The Bible very obviously does not approve of slavery, which is why it heavily regulates it. The United States regulates tobacco and firearms and alcohol because it is considered something not greatly approved of, um, but allowed, right? And I think that's how the Bible deals with slavery and polygamy and things like that. And you see that, I mean, all the way back to the time of Jesus, really, um, where he does seem to be, um, recommending one man, one wife. Anyway, ki oto. So when it's direct object marker, it's oto. When it's the preposition with, it's ito. Um, but so this is the direct object marker. Oto ahav, again, loved, in the perfect, meaning completed action. Avihen, mikol echav, from all of his brothers. Um, Veyisnu oto, so the root here is sin nun aleph, which is to hate. Really, it's a preference. I'm not, yeah, and I think people, um, don't really. I think it becomes a problem with, Esav Saniti, right? I hated Esav. I think people, misunderstand that. But velo yachlu dabro leshalom. So, and they were not able to, yachol, right, means to be able to, dabro leshalom. And I don't know if there's a better way of translating this. All of them did it speak to him peaceably, but to speak le shalom to someone, right? And I'm a little surprised that shalom doesn't have a vav there. It's written bechisaron, but just kind of like say hi, because daber shalom, to speak shalom le shalom to someone in Hebrew has a particular meaning, and I'm not sure it translates very well. Really, what it means is they couldn't get along. If you're not translating it literally, right? Figuratively, it means they couldn't get along. Yeah. Okay. Next verse. Now Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. And Joseph dreamed a dream and told his brothers, and they continued to hate him. V'yachalom Yosef chalom, v'yaged le'achav, v'yosifu od sno oto. So v'yachalom, right? So he dreamed a dream, right? V'yachalom chalom. This double language. So this particular verse, you'll see Veyosifu, right? And they continued is kind of going off of the name Yosef, right? Veyachalom Yosef chalom, veyaged, and he told it, he related it to le'achav, to his brothers, veyosifu od, and they continued to, they more added to, I guess, od sno oto, hating him. Lisno is the infinitive, to hate. This is a obviously a punny verse, but how you translate that, I don't know. But it's making a kind of pun with his name Yosef. Okay, verse 6. Vayomer. So he said to them, "Please hear this dream which I have dreamed." He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had." And he said to them, "Listen now to this dream which I have dreamed." Vayomer alehem, Shim'u na hachalom hazeh asher chalamti. Okay, so, and he said, alehem, this is the preposition of the aleph, to them. Shim'u, this is the command form, plural. All y'all, listen. Shim'u. Na. I usually translate na as please. It is sometimes translated as now. It's an interjection. I think please actually makes sense here. Does Rashi say? So they translated it as please. Let me see if anybody else says anything. Verse 6. Shim'u na. Sforno. Why did this switch? Shim'u na hachalom lodai shesaper kiganar. So he's not saying what na means. Laze amar na pirush ata. So this is the Or HaChaim, who says that it's actually now. Ikar pitra chalom hu davka biyomo velo biyom acher. So it says that a dream should be interpreted that particular day and not for another day. And that's why you can even fast on the Sabbath if you have a bad dream. לזה אמרנה פירוש אתה ולא תאחרו. So he's saying that's why it says na. So he's saying that means now. That's the Orach Chaim. Shimon ki hu gazarat Hashem v'hodat alechem u'yanavim etchem shim'u na et asher Hashem omer. Yeah, so the Malbim seems to also believe that it's now as opposed to please. Shimona lo dai shesaper chalam sforno gamamar shimuna klomar hevinu et horat hachalom uvazeh. So he's also making it a thing. Nahag lesaper chalamo lachiv. וזהו שבלשון רבים, ואתה סיפר לחלום הזה, ופעם חלם שהם מעלמים, היו רועת צאן. Yeah, it seems that everybody thinks that it's now as a kind of command, it seems. So that's what the commentaries seem to be saying. Hachalom hazeh, this dream, asher chalamti, which I have dreamed. And chalom here is bemilui, written with a vav. Yeah. Okay, verse 7. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and indeed your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. Behold, we were binding sheaves in the midst of the field, and behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves encircled it and prostrated themselves to my sheaf. So, vehine, so hine I often translate as behold, and that's what apparently they're doing. Makes sense. I mean, it's an interjection. Anachnu ma'almim alumim. We were making, right? Ma'almim. So elem, aleph lamed mem, becomes, yeah, I remembered it from mute. Bind. Almatu, fortress in Assyrian. Arabic, be in pain. Aramaic, retain anger. In the Nifal, to be dumb or silent. In the PL, and apparently it's the only place. No, it's not the only place. I remember in Psalms, it does, yeah. Alumotav, Nose Alumotav. Where was I thinking Nose Alumotav? Ha'almana. No, that's thing. Alamti. Dumia. No, Nose Alumotav. Where's that from? Sheaves. Psalm 126:6. Let me check that. Psalms 126. and 6. Yeah, Nose alumotav. Aluma, a sheaf, from the same as alam, to bind. Yeah, okay. So why didn't they put alumotav in there? So Genesis 37, which is where we are, and this is the only other occurrence. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we were binding. I guess binding is the word for it. And it's in the present tense. So here, the root is aleph lamed mem, and in the PL, like medaber, the present tense becomes me'alem. There's a mem at the beginning. Okay, so me'almim alumim, right? Yeah, and it's with a kubutz, not yeah. So binding bound things or sheaves. Betoch hasadeh, in the midst of the field. Of the field, hasadeh. Vehine, and behold, kama, so arose. Lakum, it means to stand up. Alumati, my sheav. Vegam nitzava, and it's so a matzeva is like a monument. Nitzav means to stand. It's used a lot in the Bible, actually. Nitzav. So did they translate it as? Well, they translated it as stood upright. Stood upright. Yeah, stood upright. Okay. Nitzava. Vehine, so another behold. Tasuvena. So sovev means around. A sevivon is a top, right? Tesuvena, around it. That's the female ending. Plural. Female. So alum, right? So aluma, alumot is their thing. Alumatechem, right? Your alumot, written bechisaron. Vetishtachavena, so this is hishtachava, right? So we've talked about this before. It's to prostrate, bow down, worship. La alumati. So there is a oh no, it's not the article. It's la alumati because aleph doesn't take a full vowel. It's guttural. To my, and they bowed down, or they worshipped, or they prostrated themselves to my sheav. Yeah, the words are pretty clear. The sentence is not. Okay, verse 8. And his brother said to him, shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. His brothers said to him, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us? And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. So his brothers said to him, will you reign over us, or will you govern us? And they continued further to hate him on account of his dreams and on account of his words. Okay. Vayomru lo achav Hamaloch timloch aleinu, ki mashol timshol banu, ve'yosifu od snooto al chalomotav ve'al devarav. So again, this is kind of a poetic verse. And they said to him, Vayomer lo Achav, his brothers, Hamaloch timloch. So the hey at the beginning of a word can turn it into a question, and that's what's going on here. So maloch timloch, right? You shall surely or shall indeed, right? This double language is very common in Hebrew. Will you indeed, and melech is king, right? Rule. Aleinu, upon us, preposition with the ayin. Im mashol, so im is, can mean if. No, this isn't im. Yeah, it is im as if. The other im is with an ayin, I believe. So I think it's because it's a question. Yeah. Im mashol timshol banu. So mashallah, right? Moshel is to govern, I guess is the best word. Memshalah is how we refer to a government in modern Hebrew. Banu, upon us. So aleinu, banu, upon. I mean, again, this is just it's poetic language. Ve'yosifu, the pun again. Od snooto, exactly as the previous verse we had. Al chalomotav, regarding his dreams, in the plural, again written a bit bechisaron. Ve'al devarav, and his words. And Rashi says that this is the diba that he was telling his father about them. Okay, verse 9. Then he dreamed still another dream, and told it to his brothers, and said, Look, I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me. Listen, then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. Listen, he said, I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. And if you know 11, you'll know 11 is the stars. And he again dreamed another dream, and he related it to his brothers, and he said, Behold, I have dreamed another dream, and behold, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were prostrating themselves to me. V'yachalom od chalom, again, like we had before, this time chalom is b'milui. Acher, again, another. V'yesaper, so samech pei reish is to tell. Sefer is a book, sipur is a story. V'yesaper. It can also mean to count. Oto le'achav, it to his brothers. Ve'yomer, and he said, Hine chalamti chalom, I dreamed a dream, be'milui this time. Od, again. Ve'hine, and behold, Hashemesh, the sun, ve'hayareach, and the moon, ve'achad asar kochavim, 11, kochav is a star, Mishtachavim, this is in the plural, it's in the present tense, sorry. Mishtachavim li, were bowing down, worshipping me, bowing down to me, prostrating themselves to me. Yeah. Verse 11. 10. So he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him, and said to him, What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? Um, when he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" Um, which is actually kind of interesting because I don't. Was Benjamin born yet? I don't think Benjamin had been born yet. I'm not sure. Um, no, I don't think he had been born yet. I'm not sure. We'll see. Because there aren't 11 brothers yet. Let's see what thing. Will we come? Oh, he had been born. Yeah. Isn't your mother Rachel already dead? Did not know that the matter referred to Bilhah, who had raised Joseph. Without meaning, yeah, Jacob, however, intended. So, right. So, yeah, there's that Rashi. Okay, and he told it to his father and his to his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Will we come, I, your mother, and your brothers, to prostrate ourselves to you to the ground?" V'yisaper el aviv, so told his brother, father, ve'el achav, and to his brothers, v'yigar bo aviv. So yigar gimel ayin resh is to rebuke. I usually use hochiach there. Corrupt, rebuke, reprove, chide. Ga'ar. Yeah, I guess that's how they translate it. Usually, when I read rebuke, I think of tochacha, not hochacha, not ga'ar, but I guess it's the same. It's with an ayin. Okay. Bo, upon him or in him, to him. Aviv, his brother, father. Vayomer lo, ma hachalom hazeh. What is this dream? Asher chalamta, which you dreamed. Havo, so again, this is the hey turns it into a question. So havo navo, and indeed come, and this is bemilui, both of them, which is interesting. Ani ve'imcha, I and your mother, ve'achecha, and your brothers, lehishtahavot, to bow down, worship, prostrate. Lecha, to you, artsa. So the hey at the end here, they always get this wrong. It's not the third person feminine singular. This is the directional hey, towards the ground. So to the ground, right? Leishtachavot ad artsa, to the land, towards the land, all the way down. Yeah. Okay. Next verse. And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. So his brothers envied him, but his father awaited the matter. V'yik'anu bo achav, ve'aviv shamar et hadavar. Okay, so kin'ah is envy or jealousy. Kanai is zealousness. The Kanaim were the zealots. So to be jealous or zealous, kina, yeah. V'yik'anu bo achav, and his brothers envied him. Yeah, I guess. V'aviv shamar et hadavar. They're saying kept it in mind. Shomer means to keep. Kept it in mind. To me, it more seems like he kept silent rather than, but yeah, he kept the word. He guarded the word, the matter. How did Chabad translate it? Awaited the matter. Rashi, Hebrew shamar, he was waiting and looking forward in expectation to when the fulfillment would come. Similarly, awaiting shomer, the realization, in Isaiah 26. Verse 12. Then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. Now his brothers had gone to graze his father's flocks near Shechem, and his brothers went to pasture their father's flocks in Shechem. Next verse. Veyalchu echav lirot et tzon avihem b'Shechem. So, lelechet is to go, right? So they went. Echav, his brothers. Lirot, like we said, ro'eh is, they say feed. It's to shepherd, right? Hashem ro'i, God is my shepherd. Et tzon avihem, the flock of goats and sheep, right? Avihem bi Shechem, in Shechem. And I think it has a chirik because it's at the end of a sentence. That's why it's bi Shechem and not Beshchem, I think. Verse 13. And Israel said to Joseph, are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them. So he said to him, here I am. And Israel said to Joseph, as you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you to them. Very well, he replied. And Israel said to Joseph, are your brothers not pasturing in Shechem? Come, and I will send you to them. And he said to him, here I am. Okay. Vayomer Israel el Yosef, halo achecha ro'im b'Shechem, lecha ve'eshlecha alehem, vayomer lo hineni. Okay, so Israel said to Joseph with the aleph, right? Halo, so again, the hey is turning it into a question. This is lo is usually not written with a vav, but here it is written with a vav, which is interesting. Achecha ro'im, your brothers are shepherding, ro'im, right? It's in the present tense. B'Shechem, again, it's with a chirik. I think it might actually also be because of where it is in the sentence. It's right in the middle of the sentence. I'm not very good at trope. Lecha, so come, right? It's the command form.